Kevin Durant is an all-time great player who had an all-time great performance in Game 5 of the Nets-Bucks series. He had 49 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. It's one of the greatest performances I've ever seen in my lifetime, and he was in complete control as a playmaker down the stretch of that game when he was getting trapped and pressured. He constantly made the right decisions to create shots for others or just to score by himself. And then on the defensive end of the floor, in addition to all these numbers, he was getting stops. He was anchoring the defense. He's switching onto the perimeter, slowing down guys. It was a complete performance by a future Hall of Famer. So we thought for today's episode of The Void, let's break down all 49 of KD's points. The first bucket was a sign of things to come. KD got the switch onto Chris Middleton and simply dribbled into the same pull-up jumper we've seen him use for over a decade. KD gets the ball with 7 on the shot clock, then dribbles through PJ Tucker and the help defense to aggressively draw a foul. He hit both shots at the line. Then KD got pushed in the back by Giannis here, went to the line and hit 1 try. The Nets cleared out a side for Durant with all 4 of his teammates spacing on the left. Look at all the room Durant has to operate on the baseline. He rips through Tucker and then stops on a dime for the jumper. Even with Tucker's hands touching KD's face, he still managed to sink it. There's no defense that can stop him. KD picked on the weak link all game long. Here Joe Harris screens for KD and the Bucks give up the easy switch. Elijah Bryant is not stopping Durant.
Yeah, I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am.
Brooklyn also tried to get Durant going off ball as he cut for a lob dunk and got fouled before hitting both free throws. Simple out of bounds play here with Durant jogging through a screen set by Blake Griffin on Tucker to get himself room for a jumper. Durant went to work on the post too. The Nets run an action to get him on the low right block and he just hits the turnaround. And notice KD's footwork. He elevates with his feet off balance and turns his body to midair to release on balance. And he makes it look really simple. Another out of bounds play here. KD screens for Joe Harris who cuts and that draws Brook Lopez's attention. Tucker senses Blake Griffin coming to screen for KD, which he sells before pivoting back toward the rim for an unguardable fadeaway. Durant had 17 points at halftime, but the Nets trailed 59-43. His first points in the third didn't come until midway through on this play when James Harden brought the ball up the floor while Tucker was trying to deny the pass to KD the entire time. But Blake Griffin finds him in the corner. Look how strong KD's handle is. The moment Lopez sneaks over, Durant picks up his dribble and then takes a long sideways stride to get into a right foot, right hand finish. Harden was limited as a scorer, but his playmaking was helpful. Griffin and Landry Shamet send Tucker through a maze of screens, and that springs KD open underneath the rim. And by the way, where's the urgency from Milwaukee? Giannis can't be stressed about Griffin in the corner. Stopping KD has to be the priority. And on this possession, Blake sets a screen for KD near half court, giving him a long runway to attack Lopez and draw a foul. He hit both free throws. Another high screen, and even with Lopez in drop coverage, KD still whizzes by him for a layup. This camera angle gives an idea of Durant's view. He sees a ton of empty space because of the 3 knockdown shooters around him, and then he takes full advantage. Nets spam the pick and roll once again. Durant drives, scores, and gets the and one with a free throw. Now in the fourth quarter, Bruce Brown shows his value here in the 2-man game with KD for screening and rolling straight into a dribble handoff to get Durant into an elbow jumper against Lopez's drop coverage again. We're getting repetitive here because the Nets just kept running the same play over and over. Lopez in the drop coverage, another KD pull-up. This was the moment Mike Budenholzer finally woke up and thought, hey, maybe let's try something different. So they subbed out Lopez and went smaller with Giannis at the 5 and Tucker on KD. But that didn't work either, because switching every screen means sometimes you get Pat Connaughton matched up one-on-one against arguably the most talented scorer in the history of basketball. Durant drove right by him, drew another foul, and hit both free throws. The Nets often get tactical with their screening. On this play, Landry Shamet sets a pick to get the switch. Chris Middleton goes on to Durant. Why do this first? Because PJ Tucker had to defend Shamet, a knockdown shooter. If Brown had screened first instead of second, Tucker could have been in a better position to help. Instead, it's Connaughton on an island, and to be fair to him, Durant's hitting the shot against anybody. Next time up the floor, the Nets don't waste any time. Durant launches from 27 feet and takes the lead. Unstoppable. Next time KD scored, he posted up from the left side and just elevated over Middleton. And here's the play where Durant hit the shot of the night. Harden wasted way too much time holding the ball here before Durant received it, and then he hoisted up a three before the buzzer. I mean, come on, dude. We've talked a lot about defenses the Bucks could have and should have tried, but there's nothing you can do about Durant. He's unguardable. He's scheme-proof. He's a killer. Durant scored his final 3 points after helping secure the ball in the final 20 seconds. First, after Giannis bobbled the ball near the rim with a chance to tie the game, and then after Giannis bricked the free throw with a chance to cut it to 2. Durant sunk the free throw, ending with 49 points. I can't get over it. 2 years ago, Kevin Durant ruptured his Achilles, and we wondered at the time, would he ever be the same guy again? Would we ever see this Kevin Durant who was a dominant force on both ends of the floor like he was at the time of that injury? And for him to come out and do this and not just post the numbers that he did, the historic numbers that he did, but he did it on a night the Nets needed it because Kyrie Irving was out. James Harden was very clearly a decoy in that first half. I thought at halftime when KD only had 17 points that they just didn't have enough. I thought with Harden looking limited that Kevin Durant would have to really put this team on his back, and he did. And after the game, Steve Nash said their offense was sluggish in the first half because they were figuring out how to use Harden, and then they just rode KD to the finish line. And it got to the point that it wasn't just hard to stop Kevin Durant with PJ Tucker and all these Bucks defenders. It was impossible. There was nothing they could do. He was in complete control. He displayed a masterful feel for creating shots as a scorer and as a playmaker. He got stops on defense, and he played all 48 minutes 2 years after suffering one of the most major injuries any player can have in sports. I just can't help but feel thankful that we get to watch Kevin Durant still be Kevin Durant. Thank you for watching this week's episode of The Void, and please be sure to subscribe to The Ringer so you get all of our videos every week in your feed. We get a bunch of NBA content during these playoffs, so be sure to stay tuned for everything we have here on The Ringer's YouTube page. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a fun rest of your day.